Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Quicc Gains. Extra, super special because it's the Quicc Marketing Team. Minus Bree, but she may be joining shortly. She had some stuff to do. So today we are going to talk about how to use video over the holiday season. So we figured, why not just talk about that ourselves? Because let's face it, we're a business that focuses on video. So I am me. This is Claire. She is from our team. She's the person who heads up all our digital marketing guru that you are. And if Bree joins us as well, Bree is super extra special. I'll let her introduce herself when she or if she joins. So today we're talking about video over the holiday season, how you can use that to boost your reach, how to use it to engage your audience, how you can use it to essentially grow your business through giving your sales a bit of a kick. So, Claire, first tip, what do you reckon? Where do we start?
I think maybe where we start is just getting started. So when you're first engaging your audience, how video really helps you build a relationship and gets you out there in front of people who you're trying to reach. So it's kind of something about with video. When you are on video, you show people, your personality. You can really bring some differentiators to the stuff that you're trying to sell. Whether that's an ebook, whether it's a program, whether it's a product. Video really opens up a lot of ways to be unique and really bring your value to your customers.
Yeah, and I think I lean on this from I'm going to sound a little bit boring here, but I lean to it from a more kind of psychological point to start with, because I don't know if many people know this about me, but many years ago, something I can't really talk about a huge amount. It's not like, crazy secret or anything. It's just like contracts and stuff. But I used to actually do lots of stuff in lie detection. So I technically have 2 qualifications, believe it or not, in lie detection. So narrative integrity analysis and voice risk analysis. I have 2 national vocational qualifications, NVQs, we call them over here in the UK, in what is essentially lie detection. And in those courses and throughout all that work, one of the things that we learned first and foremost is that communication is only about 5 to 10% of it is verbal. Everything else is body language, tonality, even like down to complexion and, reddening in the face. Obviously I was screwed because I go red really quickly. But the actual spoken word is such a tiny portion of relationship building. And when you learn to lie detect, essentially, doing that without seeing the person is really hard. So obviously we don't advocate lying to your clients or your audience because that's bad. But using that knowledge, it's really interesting seeing people trying to build up relationships via just the written word. And that's great if you're great at storytelling. If you're not, then seeing the person one-on-one is the next best thing.
I think sorry, I can hear the echo now too.
Claire needs some new headphones.
I do need headphones.
We should have hashtag Claire needs headphones for Christmas. And now we can't hear it at all.
Better?
Maybe hear you a little bit. I could hear you before, to be fair.
All right. Well, let's go.
Technical fail, here we come.
Technical fail.
You fix that out? See, live video. So this is actually a really good point. And this is completely unplanned. I promise you it is completely unplanned. When you're live and you're doing live content and you're communicating with video, anyone watching this right now would think, if that was pre-recorded, you'd want to edit that out, obviously. But actually this whole kind of Claire having her headphones that are broken and obviously, leaning into the camera a little bit, trying to fix the audio problem she's having. That's all about connecting with us as a human being, right? It's a cool sound effect though. Claire's in the canyon. Yes, Mike's watching. He's our boss. So Mike's all about authenticity. He works in HR, so he has to be honest. But it's all about building that relationship and building the human contact, human to human contact. So Claire's struggling with audio problems right now, on the fly, live to an audience. She's clearly a little bit flustered. She's smiling. She's human. That's a good thing, right? And I think one of the things that we often forget when, especially over the holiday season, is that I think the holiday season personally is unlike other periods throughout the year, especially when it comes to business, because over the holiday season, you don't really want to be sold to. And I think the holiday season is, I don't know if you would agree with this, Claire, but I think the holiday season is more about connecting with the audience than it is selling to an audience. And it's this time of year when you do random fun stuff. Like, I remember before I joined Quicc, Chrissy, who is my predecessor here within the team, she's gone off to do her own business and grow her own audience now. Doing really well, I'd say, actually. So I really should catch up with her soon. She twisted my arm and got me to sing a element of the 12 Days of Christmas. So I had to go on video and sing on video, and then she put it in this kind of like collaborative style thing and just spliced them all together, and we did like a 12 Days of Christmas thing, and I was one of the days. And to say that put me outside my comfort zone is an understatement, because I don't sing outside the shower, and obviously I'm singing now to, like, you know, an audience of how many thousand people want to view it. But I've never forgotten the experience, because I actually really enjoyed it. You know, I rubbed some funk on it. I kind of like, I swung my hips a little bit. I bobbed my head. It was actually really fun. And I would never have done that if it wasn't Christmas. Genuinely, I wouldn't have done it. So if someone said, sing, I'm like, no. If my wife says sing to me, I'm like, no. I just, no.
So pull the video out of the car.
Sure, I don't even know where it is. But yeah, I rubbed some groove on there. I was doing the whole thing with the head and everything. But I think that's what holiday season's about with videos, especially, is building a community, and it's connecting with an audience in a way that you don't normally connect with them. So say it.
Hold on, let me try this. All right. Can you hear me still? Thumbs up. I muted you. I think that was the problem. But yeah, no, I think that that's really true, especially around the holiday season. And people are getting so much coming into their inbox, their feed, their their sphere of reference. And I think too, you know, there's so much going on personally. There's so much going on as far as sales and stuff like that's happening. There's so much going on when it comes to the new year. Being able to deliver a little bit of cheer and a little bit of personality and a little bit of fun can go a long way. And kind of going back to what we talked about before all of the mic issues started, or before we had to figure out the sound effect issues. You know, I think that's one of the great things about videos. It gives a more personal way to connect to people. And that, you know, at the heart of it, you know, you can use that in the holiday season, but it's really the power of video just in general.
I've been unmuted. Yes. So this means now Claire has has power over my voice. That's scary. Oh, and Mike says there's no more echo. So Claire is awesome at fixing problems on the fly. Yes, she is.
All I had to do was mute Dan.
And she did it again. It's like walkie-talkies, isn't it? Should we say over at the end of when we finish what we're saying? Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, over.
So funny enough, one of the things that I'm kind of on the lookout for. So during the whole pandemic, the boyfriend and I have been riding bikes, but because the bike paths in the city are so narrow, we can't ride next to each other. We ride one person in front, one person in back, and we always have the music playing. But he keeps trying to yell at me, and I'll be behind him, and I'm like, I can't hear you, like as we're going on these bikes. So I've been thinking about getting walkie-talkies for us for Christmas so that we can use them on our bikes. I know that's totally nerdy, but that's one of my the things I'm keeping an eye out for over the holidays. Not super related to video, but
Interesting. And I don't think people know where you live, by the way.
yeah, I'm in New Orleans, so we're lucky because it's still warm here, and so you can continue to do things outdoors and stuff like that. But yeah, we ride all these bike paths. A little history about New Orleans is built all these paths already, so you can pretty much get to all of the different parts of the city on a bike, without really being close to cars or anything like that. And it's been awesome for pandemic times. They actually have all the bike shops in New Orleans. They were like not taking repairs. They're sold out of bikes for the next like 3 months. So it's been a fun post-pandemic thing. Oh, oops.
And this would be Claire pressing loads of buttons on the screen. So now I'm on the other side. I'm on the wrong side. My OCD is kicking in. God.
Sorry, how do I undo that?
Don't worry, it's fine. Fixed.
There you go. Don't put me in charge of technology.
No. Ad spend, yes. Technology. So I think what's really helpful for some people is when you start going on video. I mean, we just had this dialogue and I actually forgot we were live for a second. And I think that's part of the joy of doing video is that, and I've wanted to do a video like this for a while, because normally we interview people and we kind of, we dig into their brains and we kind of, get all the little nuggets of wisdom from some really, 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 successful, knowing their stuff people. And we've had some awesome guests on the show. But the thing that I think a lot of people struggle with is actually starting with video, like period. Actually just showing up on video as we are right now. And I think if we can show that we can chat about random tech issues and bikes and give a history lesson on New Orleans and, talk about me and my random past, whilst also explaining how to use video in holiday season, I think we deliver that message through the very nature of what we're talking about. And we go from, and this is my point here, we go from content creation, which is what we normally do on the show, to what we're doing right now is documenting what we do. And I think the difference between, especially holiday seasons, is that when you document rather than create, it becomes far more natural and people see naturally like what it is to create. Granted, Claire's muted herself there, but if she hasn't been muted, you'd hear a bit of a giggle. You'd hear, I think, the washing machine or the gardener next door behind her. So hence the reason, like the shrug. You don't get that through just voice only or through just text. When you document, I think that's a far more powerful medium. And in the holidays, especially, I mean, I would do a video about, what you do around the office if you're in an office, what you're doing with the kids at the weekend, your home office environment, what your day's like, the decorations you're putting up in the house and how that relates to kind of your business and how you're feeling festive or maybe not so festive. It's an opportunity to, I think, be far more open than some people would otherwise be, because it's Christmas and you're kind of allowed to. You can unmute me now, Claire.
Yeah, I think that's true. And actually, it's funny you said the gardener, because our gardener, we have someone who comes once a month to look at our yard, and he picked right now to come. So I was glad I think he's almost done. So luckily you talked straight through him. But yeah, and I think that shows those human moments too. I mean, and we kind of talked about it. We've talked about it on the show before. I've tried to give him the stop blowing, but we talked about it on the show before. Like, those are things that happen, unfortunately. You know, your gardener shows up at the wrong time, or someone rings your doorbell right as you go on live, or your microphone isn't working right as you go on live. You know, and I think at the end of the day, the biggest thing you can do is just push through it and keep on going. And yeah, I think, you know, we over Thanksgiving we were watching with my niece's Home Alone, and you know, all of the stuff that's going off in Home Alone. It's great actually to know that they're still watching Home Alone, because we all could like quote it, you know, word for word, and you know, the iron smacks into the guy's face, and I was like, oh man, that was the funniest thing in the world when I was a kid. But even watching that, it's kind of those little things that people associate with the holidays too. And so I think I think you're right. It's a time where it's good to be human.
Do you know what I think we should do? I think, and who's watching who thinks this too, I mean, stick it in the comments, give it a like if you want to. Who thinks that Claire should sing the 12 Days of Christmas? No?
I don't even know the words to the 12 Days of Christmas, except for on the first day of Christmas. I don't even think I know all 12 of them.
That's all right. That's fine. Who thinks? Go on. Stick a yes in the comments if you want Claire to sing the 12 Days.
I think we should, we can tag team it at the end. How about that?
I have to learn the words myself. I can throw you in the pit. I can't join you. I don't know the words. So anyone joining?
Luckily we have this brilliant Google machine who can pull the words for us.
To Nikhil as well from India. I'm actually thinking, should I sing or should I not? I know someone who can sing, and completely off topic for a second here. Is Mike says yes, tag team. So I think we should get Mike on the show, because Mike is our CEO. When he has a couple of white Russians in his belly, I believe, which I can't remember what white Russian actually is. I'm sure Mike can tell us. When he has a few of those, he apparently can do some karaoke, and he has been known to do karaoke. So who reckons we should get Mike on the show to do some karaoke? That would be interesting.
If we divided it between 3 people, we only have to sing 4 days.
This is true. Bear in mind, the only people I do sing to are my children, by the way. So let's just get that out there. I can do pretty much most of the nursery rhymes. I don't remember any other song. So I have to have the words in front of me. So yeah, Mike's hiding. He's stopped commenting. I wonder why that is. Mike, have you run away? And one of the things I wanted to get across in this show as well is, Mike said that's not fair. Yeah, technically Mike does sign our checks, so I probably shouldn't push that too much. So when we're talking about video, and I hope this is coming across is with what Claire and I are talking about, it's that we are being very ourselves. I mean, normally you see like the professional Dan or the professional Claire, or the professional Brie or the professional Mike or Jason. Well, actually, Jason not so much, because I think Jason's a bit quirky in general. But normally you see the professional us. I could quite happily have this conversation live with Claire and with Mike through comments, even though he's possibly run away again. Quite happily have those conversations and forget that I'm live. But the thing is that, I mean, Nikhil just wished us a Merry Christmas. You know, he's watching live at the moment. Not quite sure what channel on. So multi-streaming to Facebook and YouTube. But it's connection, and it's such a powerful thing. And I mean, if we talk about business for a second, when you connect with people online, especially over video, and you have that emotional connection, like I said, people don't like to be sold to over Christmas. Yes, people buy over Christmas for sure, but they don't like to be sold to over Christmas. They're too busy thinking about, present buying and, turkey or chicken or fish or whatever you do, depending on what part of the world you're from and what your kind of local randomness is. we're focused on that and like what we're going to do over the holidays. But then after the holidays, you have that connection. And I still have the memory of, singing on Chrissy's video, and I thought that was really fun. So I'm never going to forget that. And it's those moments that carry through into the next year that builds up that affinity. And I think the affinity is what you need. Over.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, kind of going back to, or when you look at selling and traditional selling too, I mean, it's, I think, easy for everyone who is marketing or selling a product to focus on the benefits of it, and they really believe in it, and they know, here are the things we want to push, here are the talking points, you write them down in your Facebook ads and your emails and all of that kind of stuff. But when you are able to do something kind of impromptu, it brings kind of more of that value. You get more of the personal story. People are able to connect to it, and it kind of lets you go beyond just, here's the XYZ of why you should look at my product. Here's like the real life implications and the real, you just get a more genuine, I think, sense of why people do what they do, what the benefit is, who people are, and how things have really impacted their life. And it's hard to capture that in just text a lot of the time. So.
Yeah, there's a thing in copywriting actually, that if you're a really, really good copywriter, I mean, Clay will know this, and some of the marketers maybe watching will know this as well. Getting a really good copywriter, i.e. someone who writes the text for your sales pages and your website and social content and everything, some of the really good ones, they will demand and can absolutely get many, many thousands of dollars per page in terms of writing, because they're that good. But they are that good because they connect affinity and build relationship and build trust and overcome objections and all the things that go into copywriting. They do it at such a deep emotional level that they can actually almost create video through words. But that is an exceptionally difficult thing to do. There are not many copywriters out there relative to the rest of the population of the world who can actually do that. And super special, through no badgering at all, guess who we've got? Ta-da! This is Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Mike. Mike can go in the middle because Mike's the boss.
Hey, I figured out why there's an echo. So I was listening to the Facebook Live, and simultaneously I came into the broadcast studio and was hearing an echo with my own headset. So Claire, if you happen to be live streaming through the Facebook feed as well as being in the broadcast studio, I think that's your echo.
Oh, I think it's Dan, because every time I mute Dan, it goes away.
Maybe Dan's both on the Facebook Live and in the broadcast studio at the same time. I don't know.
He realized something. I tried to unmute him, but
how about that?
It looks like he's figuring something out.
Hey, see,
yeah.
Everyone's talking and there's no echo. How about that?
Okay, so for all the grief I was just giving Claire, that's actually my fault.
And the gardener's gone and the dishwasher is done. So we're super good to go.
This is perfect audio. So let me start off by saying, first of all, good morning to you both. But hey, I have had a really, really bad, last 14 to 16 hours. You want to hear about it? Yeah. Because I'm sure that's exactly what all Quicc viewers want to know. Why is Mike having such a bad 14 hours?
Does it relate to why you're wearing a NASA cap? Because I love the NASA cap.
Yeah, it's called a very, very late night and a very early morning, Dan. So,
bad hair day. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So two things happened. Okay. So first of all, I don't know, you guys may know this, may not know this, but Dana and I, we have some rental properties that we have, and one of those unexpectedly vacated here in the last few days, and so we've been scrambling to get that rental turned around at the same time too. So we've been doing some showings down there and been getting a ton of inquiries about this property. So we're fielding all these inquiries, trying to get showings scheduled, trying to get a maintenance person out to address some items. And so trying to stay on top of all of that. Plus, I mean, we do a Quicc product and a Quicc company, so I'm paying a ton of attention to that too. So I'm sitting here last night in this very chair in my basement office, and Dana, my wife, is sitting with me. And all of a sudden, we start smelling something we shouldn't be smelling. Well, it turns out in our basement, we had a sanitary sewer backup last night. It started about 9:30 at night. And, you know, plumbing companies, most of them work 8 to 5, right? Most traditional work hour days or thereabouts.
That sounds like a really crappy situation.
It's an incredibly crappy, and it stinks. Yeah, it definitely does. So I scrambled last night from about 10 to midnight to find some emergency 24-hour plumber who could come out and address this for us. Didn't get anyone out last night. Still don't have anyone here now. We're hoping by maybe 11 to 11:30ish, or maybe even sooner, to come over and address it. So Dana and I have been running a wet dry vacuum well deep into the night, and got up early this morning because I had a showing done at a rental at 7 this morning. So thus the haggard look today, the NASA cap, and the baggy eyes. Now everybody knows. But you got to admit, Dan, I'm brave. You did say, if you're brave enough, well, I'm brave enough. Not because you're going to force me to sing, but because I look like hell. I look like hell today. My God, look at me.
I don't think you're going to sing unless I get you very drunk. And
I was going to say, sounds like you deserve the White Russian right now.
Yeah, I don't see any White Russians around here anywhere. So yeah, I'm just going to have to.
What is a White Russian again? Remind me.
So a White Russian is vodka and Kahlua. And yeah. So it's got a nice chocolatey flavor to it, and it's my favorite drink.
Yeah. See, I remember that. I don't remember what it's made of, but I remember that.
That is it. It's delicious, and I'm going to find a way to have one before the day's over. Oh my gosh, I need to. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy. I've got to sleep tonight.
I mean, problems like yours just linger, don't they?
Yeah, and I hear we have a board meeting tomorrow too, so I'm also trying to get ready for that. So basically, the circus performer, if you've ever been, the person who juggles 12 balls in the air simultaneously, like doesn't drop any of them, or the bowling pins, or the swords, or the flaming balls, that's pretty much me right now.
Yes.
Sounds like Home Alone 4.
Home Alone 4, yeah, indeed, yeah.
I don't think so. But if they made one, this could be, I feel like we could all lend our stories to it.
Do you know, Claire, the only version of Home Alone worse than Home Alone 4 is Home Alone 4 with 2 teenage children upstairs. Yeah.
Homeschooling.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know that feeling yet. Mine are 3 and 5.
Oh, you will, Dan. Oh, you will. And please make sure we get a before picture and an after picture. So about 7 years to a decade from now, we get a nice little photo shot of the after. And although there is a normal aging process that takes place, it does get accelerated once your kids hit the teenagers.
It's like when they show the presidents going in and coming out, how they've accelerated in aging. That's the same thing as the teenagers.
Pretty much, Claire. Pretty much.
When I can tell you, our 3-year-old Emma, she's very, very headstrong compared to her brother, like very headstrong. And I mean, we're already getting sass from her, like it's ridiculous. But bless her, she's very destructive as well. So she'll sit there and she's watched you put all the decorations in front of the TV and like do the tree and all that. She'll sit there and she'll just do her drawing. She'll watch you do it, and then as soon as you're finished, you sit down, as we did the other day. We sit down, and she's like, "Daddy, what's this?" Grabs the tinsel from in front of the TV. I was like, "Don't touch it, Emma. You're going to break it." It's like, big smile, ripped the whole thing off. I was like, seriously? But she's 3 and she's like, big smile on her face. She goes, "Can I have a snack now?" I was like, "You just destroyed the decorations. No, you can't have a snack." She's like, "Oh, I want a snack." God.
Oh man, those your kids are at the age where those stories are funny and we can all laugh about them. And then when you get to the things that happen in the teenage years, they get painful for the parents and really, really funny for everyone else in their friends and family circle that we're having to deal with it.
I'm looking forward to that.
Actually, yeah, it'll be fun.
I got a question for you specifically because Mike is brave enough. When was the first time you actually showed your face on video?
The first time I actually showed my face on video.
And what were you doing? And why did you do it? And who made you do it?
You know, I think when Skype first came out, I think we tested that as a communication tool 7-8 years ago. And that was probably the first time I was on a live video to video communication like what we're doing now. The first time I actually put out like a piece of video creative and pushed it out was probably back in my Insights days, where I just leapt out of the corporate world and launched my own consulting startup, and you know, had to put out a few video tutorials for the clients who were members of our career consulting company. And so that's been 7 years ago now, 6 years ago. So quite a while. So I tend to try to, I don't know, Dan chastises me for this, but you know, I'm not the CEO who just wants to steal the spotlight from everybody else. So I tend to generally kind of work in the background for everybody, you know, let you guys have the stage, clear all these obstacles and paths for you guys to be awesome. That's generally what I try to do. And then occasionally people challenge my bravery. And so I'm like, hey, here I am. I'm on camera. What do you need from me?
I did literally message while we were talking. I messaged Mike the link to this stream with the phrase, sorry, lol. If you're feeling brave, here, lol.
Yeah, entrepreneurs aren't ones to shy away from challenge. So when someone says, if you're brave enough, come on in, we're brave enough or dumb enough. I don't know which one it is. It's one of the two or some combination of the two, where we accept challenges.
So what do you think, Mike, since we have you on, what do you think is the biggest differentiator in doing video content, live video content, but on the holiday season compared to any other time or season throughout the year?
So what's different about it being live during the holiday season versus any other time of the year? Yeah. Well, I'll break it into 2 parts for you. One is video live in general. Do you know what? This might sound contradictory, or might sound like it's counterintuitive, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But back in the Insights days when I was a career consultant, we would heavily encourage candidate clients who were trying to stand out in a crowd of many candidates trying to compete for certain positions that our clients wanted, was we said leverage the video medium. So record a video introduction of yourself. Whenever you send your resume and an email intro to the company, make sure you put a link to your video introduction, because virtually no candidates were doing it. And it immediately puts you in the 1% of candidates who are catching attention, because, you know, by nature as human beings, we're curious, right? So if you give me a video link that I can click on and hear you as a candidate for 30 seconds, or spend that same 30 seconds looking at your resume, and I'm absolutely clicking on the video link. So we encourage candidate clients to do this. And what we found was really, really hard is when they had to sit down and do a pre-recorded video of themselves. They were so caught up in making it perfect, and their mind was so distracted with how to do it right, that they had to do so many takes before they got something they were comfortable with. So the good part is you got a huge number of takes, a limitless number of retakes to do, but it was in your mind the whole time, I'm recording a video other people are going to watch. But what I've found is when you go live, it's a lot more just like having a conversation like we're having now. And you don't have time to think about those things. So you tend to come across a little more authentic than when you try to rehearse and record something. So frankly, I've found live streaming, live video to be much easier than trying to develop and create a pre-recorded video. Now, to your question about the holiday season, the holiday season is really difficult, even with live video, because there is so much noise. You are competing for airtime, you're competing for ears, and that is so difficult. So in terms of getting a high number of live viewers, man, that's going to be a challenge anytime you're around a holiday season. But the ability to have that session recorded, and then obviously clip and repurpose portions of that out to then put out in the audience when maybe you've got a little bit more of their ear, is really the advantage of doing live streams for repurposed content later.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, we do that all the time internally. Like every one of these shows is uploaded into Quicc, as we know. You know, we can search, we can clip, we can repurpose it, and we do. And I think that's the thing I really enjoy about the weekly streams that we do is it's not about, and I'm not knocking other content creators who do this, because there's all strategies work depending on your niche, but there are a lot of people who go out there and they do streams where they literally live deliver the top 5 things that a X person would do to a Y person to get Z result, and it's all educational, but it's just live educational. Whereas I think what we do and what a lot of other people do is that we literally just have a conversation and we just talk, and like I can do this and I can talk to you. And I was like, "Hi, Mike, how's things?" Right there.
Yeah, hey, Dan.
Yeah, we can have a conversation, but we can still search and then clip and repurpose the content, but it comes up much more authentically. And I think like in this show is just one example. If we knew in 6 months' time that there's a show where we wanted to give someone an example of a live stream where someone had technical issues and they just ran with it, fixed it, sorted it out, and then smiled afterwards, like Claire's doing right now, then we can easily search for that content and then just repurpose it and say, this is an example of when things go wrong, don't worry, it's cool.
Dan, that's a great, hey, listen, you just gave me a fabulous marketing idea. Repurpose content, a bloopers reel of Quicc gains live. Like, I remember an episode about, what was it, 3 weeks ago, and I forget who you had on, but, your Chrome froze, right? And so this wonderful guest that you had on sat there for the next 7 minutes, kind of filling time, talking about things in general, staying engaged live. And the whole time he was doing that, Dan, well, not the whole time, but about half of the time, we saw an image of you like this.
Yeah. That was PJ Ty.
That was PJ. And then so he filled that time masterfully, and then you came back on, and the rest of the show went off without a hitch. But you've got to be somebody who, if you're going to live stream, the one ability that's really important you have if you're a host is that you have the ability to ad-lib, roll with the flow, be very quick-witted, very fast thinking, and if you can handle those kinds of things on the fly, then even when there are technical challenges, these kinds of difficulties, you can overcome them pretty quickly.
I think we've been really lucky with me then, haven't we?
Yeah, good for sure.
You do a great job, Dan.
I try. There's one thing I should say as well is that you have to be very careful if you're not very good with what my wife would call a mental editor. So when I told her, months ago, when I said I was going to do a weekly live stream, she was like, "You're going live?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Interviewing all these entrepreneurs and founders and experts and influencers." And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Every week?" And I was like, "Yeah." "And live?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "But you don't have a mental editor. Like, what if you say something you shouldn't say?" And I was like what? She goes, "You come out with stupid stuff all the time." I was like, "What? What do you mean?" She gave me a few examples and I couldn't actually argue with her. And there was an example of that. Was it last week or the week before, when I did a tutorial video with Making Sang and Rebecca Ward, where just as we are here, I can actually demonstrate. Rebecca joined and I moved myself into the middle of the screen and I was like, I'm the rose between two thorns. And my God, did I not live that down. Rebecca stuck it on Instagram stories. She did a grid post about it. She's messaging me on Facebook Messenger a few times over the following couple of days. It's like, "Hi, Rose." And I'm like, "Oh my God, seriously?" It was one slip.
Dan got a new nickname and it's Rose. Wow. That's quite a story, Dan.
Yes. Hopefully that one's going to die out sometime soon.
Well, yeah, I think it'll be offset by the number of times that I would guess you're going to be able to show how Making and Rebecca responded to our new quick search feature when you demoed it live, because that enthusiasm was genuine, and man, it was overwhelming and powerful. I loved that part of it. And actually, I'll share a little announcement here this morning that is relevant to the two of you and to anyone who uses Quicc too. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Is this something I know of already, or is this new to me as well?
Well, it's something that you know is coming. I just don't think that you knew, well, when is this darn thing coming?
Oh, cool. Okay, go ahead.
So I talked to Jason and the dev team, and as you guys know, when you build anything in the software, the SaaS or the tech space, there's a version of it called MVP, which is minimum viable product. And with our search feature, that's what we've given our creators right now, is a minimum viable product that is by no means complete. It's powerful right out of the gate, right? It's impactful. It saves creators a lot of time in their repurposing workflow. And so that's been great, but there are so many more things that we need to do and plan to do over time to build this out. So right now, one of the greatest hurdles we have is large-scale content migration into Quicc. Now, if you've been a Quicc creator since we launched, in early 2019, you probably have a significant number of videos in your Quicc library. So when you are immediately given search, it's very powerful right at the gate because you have so many videos that are housed within the Quicc workflow environment. So for you, that's great. When you're a new creator just signing up and you're uploading your first video into Quicc, essentially you only have one video with which to search from. So content migration has always been something we've been trying to figure out the best way to facilitate, because currently you can only upload one video at a time into the Quicc environment. So every single time that you upload a new video into Quicc, Quicc search gets twice as powerful, 3 times as powerful, 4 times as powerful, etc., simply because of the quantity of content you're uploading. So one of the ways we're trying to solve this challenge, and we're probably within the next couple of weeks of bringing this to the marketplace, is one of the highest priorities for us has been, large volume creators typically have a fairly significant YouTube library that they have within the YouTube environment itself that, they put out there, they publish from, they have channels, and they want their viewers to be able to look through that historical content. Well, within the next couple of weeks, we're going to have within Quicc Search a YouTube integration piece that allows our creators to be able to access the entire YouTube library. So if it's 10 videos, 100 videos, 500 videos, when we launch that integration capability, they're going to immediately have access to search that whole YouTube library by word and cut out clips of any of that they want, caption it, and get it ready for distribution in social and marketing to repurpose content like a media empire, I think is the word or phrasing that we use on our website, but like a media rock star. So that is coming and on the horizon, and that's the first step in us solving the problem of how do we take large volumes of video content and migrate it into Quicc efficiently, which right now I feel like it's our biggest bottleneck. And so we're going to begin solving that here in a couple of weeks.
That's super cool. I knew the guys
That's
were working
awesome.
on that. I didn't know how close they were or how it kind of was, how it's going to be implemented. So does it copy all the videos directly in, or does it kind of read the captions from within the metadata of the YouTube video?
Yeah, so basically what it's doing, it's syncing. Oh, look at this. This is probably my plumber, but I'm on a live video, so I'm going to just call the plumber back because, it won't be too long, I think. But so actually what it does is it creates a connection link to where that YouTube library is housed, making that content searchable. And then when you actually go to clip something, it will pull that particular piece into the Quicc workflow environment and create that separate clip under the clips category for you when you get ready to caption.
So even if they'd uploaded something 4 or 5 years ago, they can still search that video.
They absolutely can, Claire, yes.
That is awesome.
Love that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I knew the guys were working on it, and I remember talking to Jason about it. I was like, if you could do that, I would love you. Not in a weird way, but I would love you.
Yeah, so
it's so cool.
So my message to either new Quicc signups who've just started with search, for example, or a creator out there who's contemplating, should I or should I not sign up for search right now? Absolutely sign up for search right now. Begin putting your content in there. And then when this YouTube integration comes online, now you can fully maximize that power too. So if you sign up for Quicc Search right now in our Pro plan, which I know is $149 a month, we just came off a promo at $99 a month, but even at $149 a month, I know when you first start, before this YouTube integration, and you upload a video and then you have to upload another one. You have to do it one video at a time. I know that is frustrating. So I'm just encouraging our creators, hang in there with us just a tiny bit longer, be patient with us, and pretty soon you're going to exponentially expand the capability of migrating content into Quicc, and then it's a game changer, because once you get your entire YouTube video library accessible with the search feature, man, I mean, creative workflows now moving forward for repurposing are going to be maximized. They're going to be hyper efficient.
Like I said, I remember when I was talking to Jason about it, one of the things I really, really liked about that was, and if the guys could figure it out, and clearly they have done, so awesome, was especially people who have a lot of content, like years worth of content, or live streamers, events people, virtual summit people who have all of their content on either public or unlisted libraries. The amount of nuggets of wisdom and content you can dig out of all of that, God, there's so much of it. Because let's face it, I mean, how many times have we've all been to conferences over the years, right? We've all been to live streams over the years, and there was actually, funny enough, there was a Facebook post who I commented. I'm talking about Facebook posts as if it's a person. I commented on a Facebook post of someone asking a question about YouTube, funny enough, and I think Tim Schmoyer jumped on there as well, and he was kind of like giving his views on it. And I said that there's a live stream that I watched that Daryl Eves did, and I couldn't remember what the live stream was called. I couldn't remember what the content was. I couldn't remember where I saw it, but I remember there was a stream or a video where Daryl Eves was talking about this particular thing, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what it was. But for anyone who's watching that stream, if they can get in touch with that creator, and all the creator has to do is type in like blah 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 blah. Obviously, they're not typing in blah blah blah, but typing in the search terms, the phrase, and they could just within seconds find that video across the entire library of that creator, and then just clip out the bit, and they can just say, right, it was in this video. Here's the clip. Here you go. If you want to watch the whole thing, it's here. That would be so cool, and it sounds like they're actually managed to do that. So happy days. I love that.
So it's coming. So again, a little bit of patience. That's what we're asking from our creators. And pretty soon Quicc is going to go from a level of power that is already elevated from a content workflow efficiency standpoint to, again, off the charts when this integration goes on. And then from there, as we jump into 2021, we're going to find other ways to connect our creators to other repositories where their video libraries might be held. And so we're working on all of those things to be able to mass migrate that content into Quicc. And that's going to be, I think Dan likes to say, happy days. happy days for creators moving forward. Yeah.
See, that actually a question for people watching live or on the replay, and Claire, being the head of digital marketing as you are, I'm sure there's going to be a way in which you can clip this out and kind of put it into a post as well. I'm really curious to know, off the back of what Mike was just saying, to all you creators out there who specifically use YouTube for numerous pieces of short form content or long form live stream content, where do you actually store your video content? Do you just keep it on YouTube and that's it? Or do you store, do you have like a video library? Do you have a NAS drive? Do you use Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox? Do you stick it into AWS S3 or Google Cloud Storage? I mean, where do you keep all your videos? Because if Claire could stick this into an ad or a post or something, I'm really curious to know the answer to that question. And it helps us to obviously prioritize where we actually apply the dev resource first, because obviously we want to get that to our creators as quickly as we can, don't we?
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Claire.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, we can definitely stick that in a post. I'd be interested to hear, what people are doing as well, especially, both from a product development point and from a just general knowledge and potentially new tips type of standpoint.
Sorry, guys. I'm going to mute myself and talk to a plumber for just a second.
Go ahead.
Please
go for it.
This mic.
You're not muted.
There we go.
Yeah, because I mean, I know when I do my own content, I put mine in Google Drive, and I did some tests actually where I actually, because my video editor was asking me where I store content from, and what's quickest to get the content from him, sorry, from me to him, and him back to me and again. So I did a lot of upload and download tests, and OneDrive was actually about half the speed, i.e. double the time for upload and download, than Google Drive and Dropbox. Google Drive and Dropbox were pretty much identical. Amazon S3 was much quicker to download, but about 3 times slower to upload. So I ended up, I ended up going with just my standard Google Drive. So I didn't actually have to change anything.
Yeah, I use OneDrive too, just because it's already native on my computer. But I've noticed that people who handle larger videos than I do use Google Drive. So
Do you find OneDrive slow?
I do, but I find video in general slow. So I've kind of chalk it up to that. But I find OneDrive pretty slow for things like Word and Excel and stuff. I love it. I think it's the greatest. But yeah, and then I know I use Adobe for editing, and for that you can't really upload to OneDrive. You have to go to your local and then go to OneDrive, or at least the way mine's set up. May just be inefficient, but
like we need to upgrade Claire and swing her around to the way of thinking of the Mac user, and yourself included, because obviously we need to upgrade the pair of you.
So funny story, when Mac first came out, my uncle, he does video production and he's a photographer, and he was all on board in the Mac, and we were on a family ski vacation, and I was going to go on my first Black Diamond, and I was really nervous about it. And he was like, no, just try something new, it'll be great. And once you get down to the bottom of the Black Diamond, you're going to be so enthused you can use the Mac.
So what's a Black Diamond?
That's like how you rate the that's how you rate the different ski slope levels. So like the most difficult is like a double Black Diamond, but you typically start off on green and then you go to blue and then you move to black, is essentially the order of how difficult it. Oh, I think Mike's trying to.
I just unmuted you.
Yeah. Oh.
My mic is muted.
There you go.
Oh, you unmuted me. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Hey, I want to take the Black Diamond comment. Like, I've got to scoot because thank goodness I did answer that call the second time from the plumber, because he's got a full day. And if I hadn't answered on the second call, he was going to reroute his tech to another location. So I'm going to skedaddle, and it's going to be the two of you. But I want to say one comment about Black Diamond real quick, and then I'm out of here, which is very much how, oh my gosh, no. Well, I do need that. But just like how Claire talked to you about the color-coded ways in which you measure the difficulty of a ski slope, I'm going to give another Black Diamond comparison to you. So when it comes to in-home plumbing issues, there are simple things like a dripping faucet. And then, it progresses from there to more complicated issues. When your sanitary main line backs up into your basement, it is a Black Diamond plumbing problem, for sure.
I thought it was going to be like, brown squared or something.
Well, okay, brown diamond. I don't brown diamond. But anyway, it is definitely the most difficult level of having a plumbing problem, and I've got it. But thank goodness the cavalry's coming to the rescue. So I'm going to bow out because they're going to be here any minute. But I will say this one last time, creators. Hang in there with us. If you give us your patience as a creator and you hang in there with us as we continue building out search from this point moving forward, we are going to return that loyalty to you guys as creators in spades with some of the most unbelievable functionality you've had in the creative workflow for repurposing your content through not just content migration, but a file and folder system. We've got some incredible things planned for 2021. So hang in there with us, and we're going to repay that loyalty in spades in 2021. Dan, Claire, thanks for having me in, guys. I got to roll.
Good luck with your plumbing issue.
Thank you. On to the Black Diamond. I'll leave you to it.
And Mike's out. Mic drop.
All right.
I didn't actually do the mic drop. I didn't even do that. You do that. Well done, you. Is that like a New Orleans thing?
No, it's just something I picked up somewhere.
It's a you thing. So normally we like to keep these to about an hour, don't we? So we are getting close to the end. So I reckon we should each share with the audience our nuggets of wisdom when it comes to using video over the holiday season, specifically to help their business and their sales and their audience and their nurturing and their relationship building. So Claire, do you want to go first or shall I?
Yeah, this is just off the top of my head, but I would say, be yourself, focus on what you do, why you love it, and remember to connect to other people and to do what you can to tune into what the season's all about. I think there's also, this isn't, I guess, second one, but there's also a lot of ways to be creative with it. There's so many holiday elements that people typically have around their house. If you can figure out how to use those in a creative and fun way, I think that's awesome.
Funny enough, I was just going to say the same thing. Was like I said earlier. So if you're just catching this live stream towards the end, then cycle back, watch the whole thing, and you'll see what I was about to say. I'll just repeat myself. And it's that the holiday season is for connecting with people who you don't normally connect with in the way in which you can during the holiday season. And I think you can be more quirky, you can be more fun. But I think the power of that is, like, I haven't actually got one here. It's in my studio. It's actually at home. But I was actually going to get an elf on the shelf. And I don't know if that's just like a British thing or it's an American thing. I'm not sure.
We have it here too.
Okay, cool. So I was going to get an elf on the shelf. And whenever I do live video or, streams like this or for my own business or whatever, I was going to put the elf at different places in the background. And when I do some like Instagram stories, I was going to put the elf in like random positions, doing like random things, hopefully keeping it clean. And I was just going to show a little bit of personality with it. And because at Christmas you kind of can, and from a personality point of view, I'm kind of quirky anyway, and I don't really care about what people think nearly as much as I used to. But even now, still, I'm a little bit more reserved than I normally am. Especially when I'm online. So doing that over Christmas, it's almost like I can give myself permission to do it because it's Christmas. But what always happens with me is whenever I do that over the holiday period, and I do it like on Easter and various other times as well, I just do some random quirky stuff and I kind of give myself permission to do it because it's Christmas or because it's Easter or whatever. But when I do it, for a good few weeks or months afterwards, that kind of permission that I give myself tends to flow over and make other content that I create more authentic as well. So me personally, I have used and continue to use video creation over the holiday season to kind of level up and make my other content more authentic. And that's what I suggest other people do. That's my nugget of wisdom, is that if you give yourself permission to do and be the thing that you want to be and want to do, then that's great. And if you can give the excuse to yourself that Christmas is why you can do it, then just let yourself do it. And if that carries through until 2021, happy days.
And I think another thing, just to kind of add on to what you're saying, is when you give yourself permission to do it, to be silly, to show your personality, to connect, you're also giving your audience that permission too, and you're encouraging them to do it as well. And people tend to give back what they see, and so if you can be more relatable and quirky and creative, I think, and try to make connection, that encourages other people to make connection as well. And so then you're also, delivering a little bit of joy to your audience by giving them the permission to be silly as well.
And one of my favorite pieces of like freebie merch that I got at a conference, as Claire will know, this is my favorite thing because I do use it quite often, is this. Mm-hmm. The easy button is going to be, I think, glammed up and Christmasified. It's going to have tinsel around it. It may be strapped onto the chest of the elf. Who knows? Because when you press that button,
that was easy.
That's what it says. Because video creation doesn't have to be hard. I think we make it hard.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like that a lot.
So, any other nuggets of wisdom, Claire? Do you wish to share?
No, the only other thing I'd say is if you've made it this far and you really think we need to dig up the 12 Days of Christmas with Dan singing, definitely leave a comment or like, and we'll post it out.
I'll do it. Hang on, I've got to remember what I said. Actually, I can't remember what number I was. On the 12th day of Christmas anniversary.
I know. I know a partridge in a pear tree, but I don't know if it's 12 or 1 that the partridge in a pear tree comes on.
We're doing it. I'm going to do the chorus because I can't remember the number, right? Should I do the proximity effect with the microphone? Should I get down a little bit closer and a bit deeper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love said to me, and a partridge in a pear tree. There you go.
Woo! If I could remember any of the other ones, I'd do one too. Oh.
5 gold rings.
4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Woo!
Hey!
That was easy.
That was worth it just for that. Right, virtual high fives, Claire.
All right.
Cool. Everyone, you've got us singing as well. Normally reserved for my children. Feel blessed. Next week, we have an extra special guest, because every guest is an extra special guest. So we will see you then. Hopefully this has been valuable to you. We've just, we've just been chatting for an hour. Claire, thank you for joining. Always a pleasure. And we will see you all next week.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Have a good day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And speak to you again. Bye. Partridge in a pear tree.